gentlemen, how are we all doing today? Super hyped, I hope. It's an absolute honor and of a man. We were talking about it before, is and produced 13. We'd probably, and then if we've got a
I'm
little bit
just
of time,
gonna just a small pause. I'll just try to jump straight into the questions because uh, we don't want to make this video like 1 hour long.
towards the to know is what. That is awesome, man. It's really, really good. And I mean, probably the second most burning question is when is it coming out?
Okay, we already know when the game is coming out. So basically, the game it's coming out on 31 August. So there is close to 1 month.
Exact date for freshwater angling,
What are you going to do, Rashi?
and then bait spin casting for freshwater angling. So you'll have plenty of options available to you.
Yes.
Okay, so basically we already know that the first map is gonna be like a freshwater, since it's being told also that uh, we have the anglers into the trailers basically casting into the freshwater.
Sweet. That sounds good. And can you give us a little bit of an idea? Because this has probably been one of the top questions: is how many fish species are there going to be on at launch?
The different fish species that we're going to have in the game just yet, but I'm happy to share that you'll be able to catch a variety of trophy fish like largemouth bass and the mountain whitefish. And if you want to jump onto Steam, you might actually see a sneak peek of a couple of other fish that we haven't talked about yet. But obviously, in the coming weeks and months, we'll let you know every fish that's going to feature in the game.
Yeah, awesome. There's a good selection. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, we're on the Steam page. What are you going to do, Rashi?
Gonna wish list.
That's the one. What? I mean, this is another one. Like, is there? We are entering a quite a highly populated genre. There's a lot of other fishing games out there. What is going to set the angler apart from the other fishing games,
Sir.
Rashi?
I think there's a couple of things which help set us apart. Well, and first, I think is our atmospheric open world, which you're going to be able to traverse either on foot, or you can jump on the water and use a boat, or use an off-road vehicle as well to drive around. So it's very easy to kind of get around and find that perfect fishing spot.
Okay.
And next, I think, is just the sheer beauty of the nature, that visual splendor. I think that we've been able to kind of recreate inside the game. So I think, being
Real quick, for sure. Also, the quality, the graphic is gonna be a strong point why people will play and will bring people into the game. Those are definitely strong points. What a game should have, or let's say every single game should focus on at least those two aspects, like map, looking, and models and so on. Doesn't matter if it's tree model or fish model. I think everything should be worked to a point where it's not real life, but for a game it's hell of a good.
being inside our reserve, you're just gonna love spending time there. And then our fish species, I think they're going to stand out because we've been spending a lot of time and effort to make sure that they each have their own unique traits and behaviors, and of course different size and weights, of course, which will lead to, I think, what will be quite an immersive and engaging fishing
For sure,
experience.
looking forward to see the behavior of the fish.
Of course, different size and weights, of course, which will lead to, I think, what will be quite an immersive and engaging fishing experience. And then I think finally, my favorite element is the freedom. It truly is up to you how you want to approach this game, with either the gear you use or where you go to find the best fishing spots in the open world.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, looking at the trailer, the beauty is just something. Oh, I think it's the industry setting really. Like people think Call of the Wild is pretty. This is a much newer game, so you guys are gonna love it. It's quite you've produced quite a few games now.
Interacting with the fish, because we really want mechanics felt authentic, trying to make them feel tactile and engaging, so like the reserve isn't as simple as just adding fish to an existing game. So there's been plenty of uphill struggles, but that's with any game in game dev. So I think one of the first things that was challenging was making sure that the fishing mechanics felt authentic, trying to make them feel tactile and engaging. So like the rod play feels good when you're interacting with the fish, because we really want to make sure it's a fun and ultimately a believable experience as well. And to do that, we had to do so much research. We were talking to fishing experts and getting what practical hands-on time we could do during a worldwide pandemic, which was never easy. Because fishing, as I'm sure everyone on the stream knows, is that it's very in depth and often complex pastime. So many intricacies and details, which
Sounds
we've really
just
tried to
perfect.
capture.
They end up digging for information all over the place. They even did trips to basically get the correct information, and they have worked also very hard towards the mechanics. This is definitely the right approach because knowing everything or kind of most of the things, this is how you can basically put into the game and make a definitely a successful game. And most likely the game is gonna look if we compare also Call of the Wild and the Hunter, we already know that from graphic.
And then, of course, we wanted to replicate that fish behavior, and that's been a tough challenge. Trying to make sure that each one feels unique as you battle them. And then probably the biggest task was actually working out how to populate a massive open world with fish. We had to create an entirely new like fish ecosystem. Essentially that would then spawn the fish appropriately relative to depth, temperature, altitude, and more to create that living,
Their
breathing ecosystem.
behavior. They end up saying also the most crucial things like weather, wind. It's also a very big factor. Wind, temperature, depth, and so on and so forth. Those for sure are very crucial.
Yeah, it's it, yeah. I can't say too much. It's a very awesome system they got set up. So, um, what are the plans for future content? Can you give us any kind of hints around that, Rashi?
Well, as you know, the stock responsive, we're focusing on delivering a great experience at launch, and we're polishing, tuning, and iterating right now. But that said, Colorado the Angler is a live service game, and that's something we're going to build and expand upon. And I think the important point here is that we're going to be collaborating closely with you, the community, over time. So I'm sure there's going to be some Hunter Call the Wild fans here in the chat as well. And as you've seen on that great game, there's been so much content, so many new features added, and you can expect, no less here.
Yeah,
And it's important to note as well that whilst we're already looking to what comes next as we start to polish the game now for release, the future will ultimately be defined by you guys when you get your hands on it. We're really eager to hear what you want, what changes, what updates, what features, what content you want to see. So yeah, when you pick up the game, be sure to get in the various social channels and let us know.
yeah, awesome. That is fantastic. And like how big, exactly how big are these open worlds, Rashi? Like how big is the map in the Angler?
Well, I guess we should probably introduce our reserve. It's
Yes.
called Golden Ridge Reserve, and it's going to be based in North America, and it's going to be 64 kilometers squared, just like Hunter called the wild maps are. And we've crafted a playable area of 24 kilometers squared inside there. And in there, you're going to have a vast network of interconnected waterways where you'll be able to explore and fish in, which is also accompanied by obviously the beautiful vistas, varied biomes, and many points of interest to discover as well.
Yeah, that is awesome. And the next one I think is just really important for us to touch on. Like, we have a track record of supporting our games for years. I mean, Classic's going, I think it's 14 years now. What is Call the Wild at? 4 or 5 years? Like,
5 years.
how long are we planning to support the Angler? I'm guessing, you know, with our record, it's pretty similar.
Oh, just the same. Yeah, our plan is to support the game in the long term. We're committed to continually improving the game in close collaboration with the community. And I think it's exciting just to think about that journey ahead and where it's going to take us, and what the game's going to be like in years to come.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I think it's awesome. And it's nice that a company has that track record of such a long support to games. It's always a good investment for players. So,
stuff to keep basically the game alive. And they end up mentioning also is depending on us, like the community, or let's say the people that are gonna end up investing time into the game. Yes, that most likely is gonna be is gonna be on us, but at the same time, I don't. I have a bad feeling. I hope it's not gonna be like that. I it's one thing to support the game, and it's something else to basically have to buy everything into the game with real money. I feel like that approach is just, at least in my book, it's no, it's a no go. And I wish that if they do add stuff, they should be accessible. They should not be like with a price over the fucking head, you know. I have seen and I have played, I think, almost every fucking fishing game out there. At least tried it and tested. But I have played some of them, I swear to God, in real life, you know, like my entire equipment, some additional equipment for two friends when they come with me. It They were games. If I wanted to buy their everything into the game with real money, I would have spent at least 20 times more as I spent in what I currently have to go like three people fully stacked to catch trout and stuff like that. You know, so I just hope that the game is gonna be accessible for everybody, and hopefully everything that is going to be implemented into the game is going to be not, needed to sell a kidney or some shit. Is going to be accessible hopefully for everybody. Because if you think from that perspective, would you rather sell just one copy with $50, or would you sell 1,000 with $5? So where do you think is gonna come like more money? From which part you're gonna end up making more money? From the part where you sell your stuff with 50, or from the part where you sell your stuff with 5? I think most likely from the part where you're gonna sell your stuff with 5, because that's accessible. 50 is not for everybody accessible, unfortunately.
Yeah. And now this one is, I think is awesome because fishing is such a social thing, right? You know, you want to share the good times with buddies and stuff. Does the angler have multiplayer in it?
Absolutely, it does have multiplayer, and to that point of fishing is a social experience, and that's what we wanted to try and recreate. So we've got support for up to 12 players in a seamless online multiplayer cooperative environment. And by default, when you jump into the reserve, you're going to be matched into a world with others. You can, of course, join up with friends directly. And if you don't want the multiplayer experience, that's fine. You can absolutely play solo on your own. But when you are in multiplayer, though, you can have those opportunities, those chance encounters with others, seeing other people fish, and see what they're catching, and you'll be able to share vehicles to go on fishing adventures together. And I think it's going to be quite a unique social experience.
That's very cool that they have implemented this, where you can go catch with friends, basically on the same creator server, and you can test as a team specific spots to see how good this spot is, how good maybe your friend's spot is, or you can join, the map with others, and then try to see, hey, that guy is catching way better. Where the heck is he? Let's find him and test our luck as well there. Very nice idea for sure.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, and I also like to point out as well that the multiplayer does support crossplay as well. So irrespective of whether you're on Steam, Windows, or Epic, you're going to all be able to play together.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. That is fantastic. And I kind of touched on it before, but obviously I didn't want to spoil this question. The game is so beautiful, Rashi. Which engine is this done on? Because like it's oh geez, 20-30% prettier than Call of the Wild. I just have to say.
Yeah, we're using the latest version of
Okay.
the Avalanche Studios Group proprietary Apex open world engine. So compared to the Hunter Call the Wild, hopefully, as you pointed out, you'll immediately notice the improvements to the visual fidelity. When you get to play it, you'll hear the audio landscape, the responsiveness of the UI system, and then behind the scenes, we've improved all the tools and the pipelines, so that we can deliver, that kind of rapid, high quality content post release as well. So yeah, it's great to be able to work in such an awesome engine.
Yeah, cool. And we were talking about company track records, and we've always had like very high standards for trying to maintain hunting ethics in the digital world. What sort of ethics, do we have any ethics in the angler? Like, can you explain to people what they can expect in terms of that?
Yeah, this was something that when I joined Expansive Worlds, it was kind of communicated straight away. We need to be one with nature in many ways. So we have to share the passion for the outdoors, and we have to act responsibly and sustainably. Whether that's in game or even when we're doing our research. So, the angler itself that operates a catch and release policy. So the fish, even though they're digital, they'll still always return safely to the water.
Okay, very, very cool information. So basically, you won't catch the fish and then sell. It's gonna be catch and release. Very awesome. Very awesome. So from this catch and release, I can already imagine myself. They will have maybe a system where you're gonna end up catching a specific fish and you're gonna end up reaching a higher and higher experience into catching that fish. And at one point, I think you maybe unlock a couple of skills towards catching that fish a bit faster, or maybe you're gonna learn more tips and so on. Because I don't know, like how catch and release. Uh, are you gonna get like maybe the experience that you're gonna end up catching? That's gonna like accumulate, and that is gonna be into traded into purchasing the new gear. Or this is a kind of mystery for me right now. What exactly is gonna be, or how exactly are you gonna end up purchase your new gear? Hopefully not with real money, because that's gonna be a fucking bummer. But yeah, let's hope that's gonna be something okay-ish.
Water. We've even got the warden of Golden Ridge Reserve, who will impart many words of wisdom about nature and conservation. And if you choose to do so, you can even help the warden manage invasive plant species inside the world as well.
That is cool. Very cool. And real life hunting, fishing brands, I should say. Are there going to be any in the game on launch?
So at launch, we'll have a good selection of fictional brands created for rods, reels, apparel, vehicles, and more. However, we are very keen to investigate the possibility of adding real world brands to the game in the long term. So, what I'd like to know is from the community, what brands do you want to see first? Let us know and we'll see what we can do.
Cool. I'm just going to just double back one question because I see this popping up plenty of times. But yes, it is.
I'm just gonna make it real quick here. Brands, for me, it doesn't matter what type of brands, as long as the game plays correct, feels correct.
Is going to be released on consoles as well, but that's going to be later in the year. Is that correct, Rashi, or is it
That's
after?
absolutely right.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
PC first, and then consoles down the line. We don't have a date to tell you just yet.
Nice, they are releasing this also on
I see lots
console.
of Abu Garcia and
That feels good
some
with
Repeller in there
with
too.
a
Just people are throwing out their favorite
joystick to
fishing
play.
brands there. So there we go. We'll probably end up putting a survey out or something like that, I guess, to capture people's wants and needs there. So Call of the Wild, classic. They've always had missions and challenges and stuff. Can we expect to see this in the Angler as well?
You absolutely can, but it will be a little bit different to maybe what you're familiar with if you have played those games. So we're going to have a range of missions and challenges. We'll have Sophia, who's a Golden Ridge Reserve shopkeeper, and she'll have a series of missions that you can go on, which are all non-linear in their progression, entirely optional. And then we have Clayton, who's the Golden Ridge Reserve warden. He's got a series of favors that he needs you to do whilst out on your travels, which again, entirely optional, completely non-linear. So you can basically choose if and how you want to engage.
Okay, so we'll have two NPCs, one with quests and one with favors by the looks of it. And I'm thinking also maybe they will add missions that will also have specific clues being hinted into them as well. Like, for example, you will get a mission where it's going to say, catch the trout early in the morning because already there's the specific information early in the morning. That's where basically trouts are very active. So maybe also those type of quests for sure. I think from what I'm getting right now.
Engage with those missions in between your fishing.
Awesome, that's cool. And there are in Call of Wild we have your non trophies right up to diamonds and stuff. Like, how will that be? How, is that reflected in the angler too? How will somebody know if they've caught a big fish or not?
We've got a ranking system for our fish, absolutely. So the top tier of which is diamond ranked fish. They're going to be the rarest in the reserve and often the hardest to catch. You're going to really need to scour the reserve to find where they spawn and have the right gear to catch them, and then fight hard to land the catch. So yeah, best of luck trying to get them.
Cool, that is awesome.
Okay, nice. So basically, the fishes will be also by rank. Diamond being the highest one. Basically, the same kind of concept of what Call of the Wild the hunter has. Um, Not a bad idea. I love it. It's okay.
Awesome. Um, So the fish will spawn in all different sizes within the species, i.e., the biggest ones making diamond, like you just said. You mentioned to me yesterday, actually, that there is a brand new system that controls the spawning behavior of the fish. Can you touch on that briefly?
Yeah, and this was really important for us to get right. So we've got a unique system which controls all the spawning behaviors of the fish, which utilizes a really good range of environmental conditions within the open world, such as water temperature, time of day, altitude, and more to determine where and when the fish will be active in the world. So the populations of the fish are entirely dynamic and reactive to the environment. So you're going to need to factor that in as you go in search of the best fishing spots.
Awesome. So just to kind of add on to that, what I'm getting at is if you understand fishing in real life, you can probably apply those same things to the game if you come in. Is that right?
Yeah, and if anything, if you know, as a experienced angler, you're going to have a huge leg up. Really.
Okay, so this is what I ended up pointing exactly at the beginning, where they end up talking about the fish behavior, and they also confirmed that someone who has real life experience all over, like with yeah, catching a specific type of fish, then you can basically put that specific information and your knowledge you can basically use into the game to catch that fish. This is very good. This is how a fishing game it should be.
Where the specific type of fish will spawn. So yeah, hopefully it all matches up with the real life experiences that you have.
That is cool. I'm sure there's going to be people scouring the map as the first thing they do to try and work out where to head, their favorite fish. So that's cool. Does the release of Call of the Wild the Angler mean less resources for Call of the Wild? I know there's been a little bit of murmur about that, so good to address that one.
No, I mean that's the first thing. No, it hasn't affected the hunter at all. The angler has largely been developed by a brand new team, and it hasn't impacted the development of the hunter. That game continues to grow, and it's extremely important to Expansive Worlds and Avalanche Studios Group. So, no resources taken away there. And additionally, as the teams are all part of Expansive Worlds, we've really been able to share knowledge and experience with each other, and hopefully that's going to create a better fishing experience with the support.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, this one is a personal one to me that I got added in basically multiplayer and everything like that. Right? Everybody needs to look unique. I think in terms of customization. So, what can we do in the angler?
Well, you've got a full range of customization tools, which is great. So you're going to be able to visit the shopkeeper, browse a broad selection of apparel and gear. You're going to be able to purchase everything from boots to wellies, gloves to sunglasses, shorts, t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more.
Awesome. We will have fully customizable characters. Awesome.
All to kind of customize your character and look unique. We'll try and reserve some special ones for you, Matt. Right?
Yeah, yes, please.
And then gear wise, we'll have everything from spinning, bait casting, match rods, a selection of reels, lines, lures, hooks, baits, floats, and more that you're going to be able to tailor your tackle to catch those diamond rank fish.
Yeah, that is cool. That is very cool. Um, so I guess like that's kind of the end of our questions. I'm very excited about the customizable stuff. Okay, so it's going to be fantastic. And, you know, I always try and get the most unique, weird looking thing possible, even if it doesn't make any sense. So, you know, always stick out like a sore thumb in real life, so might as well do it digitally as well, right?
Yeah.
So, um, we're going to take a few questions from you guys now, okay? But one that I have seen popped up a lot is, you know, I think we did touch on it earlier, but is will players be able to display their trophies? That seems to be a very
Oh, that's
common
a very
question that
good
keeps popping up.
question.
We don't have a, let's say, a specific trophy lodge or a place to put your best catches. But what we do have is that when you catch the fish, we've got some nice reward pauses where you'll be holding the fish, you'll be able to hide all the hood, take some snapshots, and every single fish that you catch, of course, is recorded in your journal as well. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
something that, if the if you've
So
got
it's not gonna be
small
like a trophy lodge. It's unfortunate that we don't have that here, but still, that picture that you can add to your basically full you know, information and so on catalog, I think that's still something. It's better than nothing, I'll say.
want to see, you want to be able to keep your trophies and put them in something like a lodge, like in the Hunter. Maybe that's something we can look at in the future. But there'll be ample ways for you to be able to capture a good screenshot, though.
Yeah, awesome. That's cool. I think it's yeah, I quite like that actually. It's like I think most serious fishermen, unless you want them for food, end up releasing your fish anyway. You know, unless it's like
Exactly.
a really crazy big one or something. So it's quite nice, and it as long as you have a record there, I think it's pretty awesome. So um, let me have a look. What other questions have we got going on here? Man, this chat is moving so fast. How many people can fit in one boat, Paul?
Four.
Four?
Yeah, I think, and that's the same for the 4x4 vehicle we've got as well. So yeah, four players will be able to jump in there. So obviously, if you've got a maximum of 12 friends all on a server together, then you'll need three vehicles to go out. But
But
that's
so on.
that's easy enough to do.
That's cool. Um, do. Oh jeez, I can't even. The chat's moving so fast. I can't even grab
Slow down,
another.
guys.
We need lodges, is what they're saying. But I mean, like you, I hope you guys know that, like with our track record here,
With the lodges, I think everybody should pay attention to what the game designer ends up saying they are thinking. So that's still into the book. Okay, so it's not out of the book because that hard for them with the amount of experience that they have. It will be like something easy to add. The only question will be how exactly they're gonna end up doing with the showcasing of the trophies that everybody has got, because just putting their pictures on the walls, I don't think that's gonna be okay, since they will put so much effort into having a lodge. Don't think that the record book is gonna cut it.
company, you know, this is going to go out, and basically all we're going to be doing is listening to you guys. Rashi was talking about before too. Is like, you know, we want we want to move with you guys, and I think you were saying that before too about our release plan. Is that like, you know, we're going to be listening to what you guys as players want, and you know, obviously we have some ideas about, you know, a release plan in the short term, but long term, you guys will be largely steering the needs and wants. I think, did I get that right, Rashi?
Exactly. I mean, that's something that we've really been talking about over the last 6 months or so is how we're going to try to be as kind of reactive and responsive to you guys as possible. Obviously, as you all know, you can't ask for something then the next day it'll suddenly be there. But we definitely will be listening and trying to, change the roadmap as we go to make sure that we're tailoring the experience to what you guys want, because we're making this game for you ultimately.
Yeah, that's cool. I see. You know, this is probably like we can't ever confirm anything that hasn't gone out in the game. Yeah, sorry, you know that we haven't announced, but like I see a lot of requests for bow fishing out there. So that's, you know, like there'll be people taking all these notes down, ladies and gentlemen. But like I'm saying, is bow fishing is not confirmed on launch, but
No,
you know,
there is no bow fishing. I've also seen comments about will there be dynamite fishing as well. Absolutely not.
Okay.
As kind of mentioned, we operate a very ethical form of fishing with catch and release policy. So
Yeah,
definitely not of that
yeah,
at launch.
yeah.
Maybe a systemic reaction once you introduce angling to maybe second extinction, they can blow up some fish. We can sort that out
Perfect,
for them.
perfect. Yeah, I saw that chat disintegrate down to harpoons there. So yeah, we definitely, as mentioned before, trying to keep some high ethical standards there in the game. I think we need to run over a couple. We've answered them earlier on again, Rushy, but can you just run us through the crossplay and release date scenarios again?
Yep. So I'll start with the release date again. Then so coming later this year to PC, and on PC you'll have a choice of Steam, the Microsoft Store, and Epic Games. Consoles will come afterwards. Again, we can't say exactly when the consoles, how far after the PC.
So fly fishing, again, it's not confirmed, but we're listening to you guys, and if it's a strongly requested feature, you never know your luck, basically. So there we go.
I think this is something good what they end up doing right now. They want to focus on one specific, one at a time, specific way in catching fish. Not all of them, and not even one of them being polished to the point where you can say, okay, it's a 10 out of 10. So
We
I
haven't talked about exactly what fish species. Everyone's asking about what sort of fish species again out there. But if you head to Steam, there is a few little extra gems
yeah,
hidden
about the
on the Steam.
fishes we
There
end up
could be
watching at
something.
the beginning.
But I will say though, is because I think our team have worked together fantastically well and had a lot of fun making the project. We have put a few Easter eggs in the reserve for you to find. So not a big mouth Billy Bass, but something, a few other things maybe.
Yeah, that's cool. I just see another common one is a price point. We haven't decided on that yet, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as we know, we'll be sure to.
Like I said at the beginning, the Call of the Wild, the Angler is gonna be a buy to play model. It's not gonna be a free to play with some other type of things being implemented into the game, like premiums and so on. It's gonna be a buy to play, and like I said, the only concern towards this, I just hope and I hope again and again that it's not gonna be a copy of what they are doing with Call of the Wild, because if it's gonna be like that, a lot of people will unfortunately not enjoy that part. Or maybe if they will do that, it should be a reasonable price for everything. It should not be like overpriced, hopefully. And also for the game overall, hopefully it's not going to be like an overpriced one.
Get it out to you guys. 100%. That's one of those questions where it's burning into my eyeballs. So there we go. And where was the other one? I mean, this is the first map as well, guys. So I see the saltwater questions too. You never know, right? I mean, it's if I think you know we haven't limited ourselves. We've created a fishing game. It's called the Angler. You never know what.
And
Um,
I'm just looking forward to test and do stupid stuff. But anyways, I think asking about saltfish and dynamite and whatever and so on and so forth, I think we should stay at the beginning with the game with the basic, so people understand the basics, and then I think they have a decent amount of time um, for them to be able to, depends on what exactly the community wants to have, they can react to that.
Another one that seems to pop up quite a bit is like, has there been any chat within the team about a competition system, or is that something else that
Oh, very
maybe
good
in the
question.
future, or could be on the
Competition.
cards?
Haha.
Yeah, our focus for day one was definitely creating that co-op experience where you can kind of go on fishing adventures together. But we definitely recognise that people will want competitive experiences. So it's
For
definitely
sure.
something we've been discussing and trying to work out what's the best way to allow you guys to compete with one another. But for day one, the focus is on exploring the world together and having that social experience.
Yeah, beautiful.
True that. Exactly what I ended up saying a bit earlier. They want to bring a very high quality game first. And after that, after having that, they can start implementing other stuff. But as long as the game is not like very has high standard, then you know why why rush? So I respect the decision. Very happy to hear this. and looking forward to what they will be able to do with the game. And for sure, it looks good.
Alrighty-o. So, is there any like now that I just see a lot more kind of individual questions stuff? So, like, let me know. We got a couple more minutes left before we knock this on the head. Is there anything else? I see actually rare fish popping up a lot, Rushy. Is that something that maybe one day, like Call of the Wild has albinos and stuff like that, is something you might consider?
Also, a very
That
good
is
question.
something we are talking about. It is something I know a lot of anglers, really want to catch that legendary fish or something along those lines in the waters that you may have heard rumors or stories about. That's not something that's in the game for launch, but it's a cool idea, and it's something that obviously I think it would be a great addition if we can.
Yeah, awesome. That is cool. Right, I just give it a little bit more time, but I think there's I'm just gonna address this. It's not really a true rack system for fish, but there is like they do change in sizes, right? So you're gonna get fluctuation in the sizes of fish within that species. So
Exactly that. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, so you obviously every individual fish that you caught within a given species will have a realistic range of lengths and weights and things. And they will vary with each catch, of course, and that will have obviously an influence on the actual fishing experience itself, of course. Relative to the tackle that you're using.
yeah, awesome. Ice fishing seems to be another one that's popping up. Again, I think that just goes with everything else. We see
Jesus
saltwater
Christ.
fishing, fly fishing. I saw an Amazonian river map too. It's like all these are all possibilities. Okay, we haven't said any limits to this game. We haven't said no to anything. Let's see where the community want it taken, I guess.
I think that's the best word. Possibilities. There
Yeah,
are so many possibilities. I mean, coming back to the question that you asked earlier about our commitment to the game, and how long we're going to be adding new content and new features, then the possibilities are, and that's a cheesy phrase, but the possibilities are endless. So yeah, I think hopefully we'll see all, or most or lots of these ideas and things come to the game over time.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Alrighty, well, Rashi, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure that's been super helpful to all the aficionados out there.
Ah,
Got one in there.
oh, got what I was waiting for the punchline.
Alrighty then. So basically, this is gonna cut it. We end up watching together, and we end up talking about the Angler Q&A. I'm very happy. I have heard a lot of very good stuff, and I have a couple of them under a big question mark. And I think if the game overall is gonna be like accessible for most of us, I think it's gonna be a very nice game. If unfortunately they're gonna end up going towards another way of being, let's say, I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to be here transparent, greedy, then that will be the breaking point where the game is not gonna last that long. I mean, it is gonna last, but why not have hundreds of people play and have just a few, you know? So this is my point where I want to come with saying this. I just hope that because they are prepared to listen to the community, and they are basically ready for improving the game, be better, add more stuff. So everything is there. It's on the table, but it's also how exactly we gonna end up sustaining the game. This is my biggest question. So thank you for joining me. If you have ads to what we just ended up seeing, feel free to put them into the comments down below, guys. Looking forward to see what type of an idea you guys have, or what are your concerns. Where do you think they're gonna end up doing a very good job, and where do you think is gonna be like hopefully not one. So that being said, thank you so much again for joining me. Stay healthy and play smart. See you into the next one, anglers. Take care.